So, guys, I'm actually going to be loading up things. You're going to see me on camera because I want to be yapping while I do this. You sit on next to Romain. Yeah. There we go. So what we're going to be doing... Actually, no, Pete, you're on the other side, actually. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Pete. Oh, you got to go around, though. There we go. We're going to have a really, really interesting... You might see some familiar faces here. We've got Crosswell here, who I believe is a local, cooking up with one of the finest brews I have seen in a long time. And facing against him is Harpreet, aka Pete, who you guys might be familiar with from those of you who went to Vienna. Because he was my co-caster there. And with any luck, scrubs out after this round and joins me right over here at the casting table. These are going to be one of my favorite cooks of today. This is going to be the sickest deck of today versus the coolest cook of all time. The coolest cook in history.
I don't know. Which one is the cup?
Guess you'll find out. Play and find out. Oh, there we go. We're going to quickly grab Pete. There we go. There's Pete's necklog as well. Today is going to be one of the games of all fucking time. Now, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be going to the match camera. Wherein I'm going to... There we go. There's the match main. I'm just going to be changing a couple players' names around just so we can get that ready for you all. We got one. We got... There we go. 1, 2. And then we're going to have... Oh. There we go. Versus... There we are. And so, we're going to be able to, very, very shortly, be able to transition over by turning off. There we are. We are now ready to go. We are going to be going right over to the match table. This is now round 4 of Swiss between Harpreet and Crosswell. You can see two very unorthodox decks visible to us now. And yeah, this is going to be a really, really interesting one to pay attention to. Yeah, we're going to be seeing that Aldona discard. Again, yeah, you're looking at Shadow Paladins. Not what you're thinking, though. I wonder if we'll see one of the cards revealed in the 8, 9. Ooh, no, but we do see the Sound Count coming out. Which maybe gives you an inkling of what you're looking at. Just maybe. You know, maybe a little cook. Just a little cook. A little bit of Saga, a card you don't often get to see in Premium. But I'm sure you guys will manage. For those of you who don't know, it's a card that says that when it boosts, if you either played an order this turn or have more ray guards than your opponent, it may gain 5k. And then at the end of the battle, it retires itself, and you check the top 2 cards of your deck, and then put one card to the top of the deck and another to the bottom. So again, not something you're seeing now, definitely not something you're often seeing in Premium. But again, when you're cooking, you got to do it. And yeah, Pete's getting the on hit. Unfortunately, Crosswell's going to be going to 1, but Pete got the hit with the Craving Claw, gets the top 5, finds the Freezeray. Yeah, there you go. Draws a Freezeray, sees another Freezeray. Again, Pete deck thinning here. That's everything you want to see as Link Joker, because yeah, a lot of the times your pieces aren't a lot of shields, so you want to start seeing those triggers, and filtering is really the best way to go about it. I can't believe it. Pete is using the sleeve of Toshiki Kai. Yeah, unfortunately, you really, really can't escape that dog. Yeah, Crosswell calling that. Yeah, Crosswell really got that dog in him. Swinging with the Sargon for 23. Yeah, there you go. Activating the effect of what appears to be the Ride Fixer. Yeah, so what we're looking at right now is a card that you seldom see. Maybe because you don't see Shadow Paladins. But what you see him riding is the Cruciald, saying that when it's boosted, you may Counterblast 1 and choose a grade 1 from your drop zone and call it to Rearguard. And, oh sorry, search your deck for a good one card. Of course, that's going to be our Aldona in this case. because if I recall correctly, Eldona in drop zone and deck is regarded as a grade 1. Letting us call it out, and of course then able to pop 2 in order to draw 2. Really, really, really cool tech that you don't often get to see, especially in Premium. This was more of a V Premium card, but you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. So yeah, we're going to get to revive it. He's going to see that. Going to put that Sargon to the bottom, I would assume. Oh no, it's a Zirconium coming out. Pulling the Sargon is locked. Pete's going to get that card. Swinging at the Rear Guard. You're going to damage deny that Shadow Paladin player. And yeah, you get the heal, which is pretty huge. Because Pete, you know, was at 1, then went back to 0. Oh, there we go, and Pete is showing the card that he helped popularize himself. We are looking at Wailing Deleter Arrow, saying that when a card is placed on Rear Guard by an ability, he is able to force his opponent to bind a card from drop face down and countercharge 1. Again, fantastic resource engine that Pete helped cook ahead of his debut in Vienna this year. This is, again, the deck that is commonly going around now as Freezeray Control, a really, really interesting new build that plays around a lot of things that things like Chaos often lose to. You know, you're going to see a very different playstyle to the Messiah player you got to see earlier today, and hopefully, it's maybe able to pull ahead. Although if he doesn't, he'll be joining me at the casting table, so I win either way. Either way, we get to see 2 really, really cool brews, and worst case worse, we continue following awesome games, and best case, I got a new caster. So it's fine. We get to see this stuff play out. And yeah, but notice that you're going to see a little nifty little Rezael there. So yes, our friend here is running the fated one of miracles, Rezael, in Premium. So his aim, by the looks of it, is going to be generating a History Stride and then poking for all eternity with Rezael. Really, really cool tech. And not one you see very often. Because yeah, those triggers become 14k. And yeah, Pete's going to take that damage because, again, he needs it. Swings Vanguard. He's going to draw a card. Pete's thinking. Pete's not on that Freezeray yet. Yeah, -2 criticals. His opponent's going to -1. And he says, oh, is that a critical trigger? That looks like a critical trigger. Both effects rear. Second check. Third check. Ooh, that's another Rezael. But yeah, now he's got a Rear Guard swinging for 2 damage. Yeah, and yeah, you got that Sharon, you got Soul Charge 1, or Soul Blast 1, Counter Charge 1. Again, really, really tight resource loop that those of us that play Premium, or at least V Premium back in the day, would absolutely be familiar with. We're looking at Blood Sage Sharon. She also gets 3k, importantly, making her 21k in this instance, which is able to hit over Pete, hitting a defensive on the other Ray Guard swing. So again, really, really, really cool tech, and not one you see often in Premium. Because even when you do see Shadows, it's very often going to be Luard, and this is just not it. So actually, speaking of earlier, we were talking about decks that kind of made the other side of History format kind of unscathed. Shadows was not one of them. Luard was very much a deck that could outpace whatever the Stride was able to generate. 2 false markers is nothing when you generate 3. But, as we see, that does... You know, the one thing that Standard does do for Premium is it allows us to have that expanded card pool that allows us to generate a little bit more synergy than we normally would. And yeah, Peter's going to be riding Freezeray, striding straight into Glue Ball Avalanche. So of course, Freezeray allowing us to, whenever we take damage, lock a card. And then Limit Break 4, we start gaining 3k per locked card, or per damage rather. And striding the most important card in this matchup, which is Glue Ball Avalanche, which allows us to Soul Blast 1 lock 2 cards. Of course, opting to lock the front row here, giving the front row 2k for every face-down bound card or locked card. But the important thing here is that when he flips the second one, although not doing it now, he is going to be able to bind every single card as it attempts to unlock. So you see, this time he's doing Messiah so that he's able to undamage deny himself if Rezael opts to go that way. But in any other situation, you're going to be flipping the second Avalanche to attempt to bind everything that Crossbow is going to be putting down right now. Because yeah, I think at this point you're just trying to restrict attacks. You don't want things binding. And yeah, he checks. Oh, and he goes for the critical trigger. His opponent says no guard. And third check. Ooh, and so yeah. That's a heal. The heal is going to resolve. And the second check is going to be... Ooh, the Elementary is a rough one to see this early on. And yeah, we're going to see the Owl and the Cold Death coming out as well. Yeah, going to give us the Owl. And... Cold Death, yeah, just going to pass turn. Cold Death not doing anything at the moment, does not hit. I guess this is going to be the turn where we get to see what Crosswell can really mount up, yeah? Riding that Rezael. Riding, again, the fated one of miracles, Rezael. Thus allowing us the divine skill of Soul Blast 1, shuffle all the crits back into the deck, and then gain triple drive for turn and retain the red text. And when you would take damage that is your 6th damage, if it is not a heal but is a trigger, it will still act as a heal trigger and heal itself. So, giving you really an extra lease on life if you're the Shadow Paladin player here in this case. Yes, striding, thinking of what to stride here. Because, yeah, I think you just have to go for some very powerful restats here. Oh, that's a difficult one to see. Yep, and we're going to be seeing the what looks like Dragabyss Lord coming out. Now, that's something you don't see very often anymore. Dragabyss Lord becoming a staple during the GBT14 format. Oh, accidentally clicked on the wrong one there. There we go. Stable with the GBT14 format here. Not only is it giving you front row power for every grade 1 in your drop zone, or for every 4 grade 1s in your drop zone, but it's also then able to call grade 1s from the deck to separate Regal Cycle. So again, it is deck thinning. And you're also fearing kind of giving Link Joker the field to lock. But given that, Pete hasn't really gone for the Abyssal Owl to draw. Since Pete's, not flipped the second Avalanche, he's maybe got a turn where he's not able to bind things. But I think that also means he can't clear off the board. So again, really, really awkward positions that, Crosswell is finding himself in. But yeah, you're just going for the card draw here. It's not like you don't have the CB for it. And yeah, getting that Elro proc, forcing his opponent to bind from drop. Which, again, especially with decks like Lord, you may get to choose, but eventually you're going to have to start picking those grade 1s, right? And the second you start picking those grade 1s, your ritual is going down. Although the funny thing is, if you look at Pete's damage zone, you also get to see what my favorite... This is the card that sold me on this deck, personally. Unfortunately, it's thrown at the thumb because, unfortunately, Legion Rares aren't in here for some reason. But it would be this in any other circumstances. Unfortunately, Secret is not really an option, but it is referring to Blaster Joker, which is a card that, when you Legion, can Counterblast 2, Soul Blast 2, and lock the entire board, non-choosing, meaning if your opponent ladders, you don't care. They say ladder, you say lock the board, please, and the conversation sort of ends there, and then you can discard either itself or its Legion mate to gain a critical on attack. But realistically, it's only for when you're going for the alternate win condition, which this deck does host. And yeah, he's just going to go for the double lock. So he's activating one of the brand new additions that enables this whole deck, actually. It is the Cosmic Ray Eagle, which is, when you call it to the Guardian Circle, you may either discard it as a G-Guard or you call it to the Guardian Circle. And if it goes to the Guardian Circle, you remove a heal from the drop zone from the game, and you may lock up to 2 of your rear guards. If you chose any number, if you chose any number that's 1 or above, you are able to gain 20 extra 1,000 shields, so it becomes a 30k shield in a clan that solely lacks it. And if you have 2 or more locked cards, you may CB1 and give your Vanguard plus 5k until the end of turn. Now that's not super important in this case, because a 30k shield sort of does that for you, especially in this case where your opponent really can't do... Ooh, yeah, and it's not enough, and the opponent breaks it, and Pete's going to get a draw trigger. And, oh, that's a second Blaster Joker, that's rough. The deck is only ever on 2, that is really unfortunate if you're Pete. So that would look like the overtrigger if I'm not mistaken. I was sort of missed that there for a moment. But yeah, Pete's kind of going straight up to 3. That's not a position you want to be in if you're Pete at this stage. Yeah, the funny thing as well is there are also instances of cards that have the wrong deck log. So one of the main cards in this deck actually has the incorrect deck log image, so the card displays the incorrect skill. And so yeah, so what we're going to be seeing in the moment is we're going to be seeing the Cosmic Dome coming down. Going to be calling PG's probably just going for the filter at this stage. Yeah, going for the Honolulu. He's going to be probably calling them as locked. Seeing if you're going to bounce them to hand, you're probably going to try and go for most of a full board lock here if you can. So yeah, Cosmic Dawn here, one of the new cards introduced in the Premium Collection 2022, actually allowing us to again on attack top 7 for 2 cards, and for every you may then either bounce or unlock every given locked card. And then for every card you bounced, your opponent locks 1. So Pete's probably going to go for a triangle lock here if he can help it. There we go, yeah, his opponent gets to choose. But with 4 cards, there really isn't too much room left here. Yeah, unfortunately for Pete as well, he also is able to heal, which is a pretty big thing for him right now. Yeah, the PG pull. Yeah, the PG goes clutch. Yeah, Pete just not able to push through that just yet. There you go, yeah, and Pete's got that arrow behind the Vanguard. It's not going anywhere. He's going to keep farming that bind zone. There you go, yeah, Pete's got that massive hand. Look at what, like 12 cards in his hand? That's going to be a hard one to break through, especially for Crosswell in this situation. Oh no, Pete's not actually able to. He's stayed on through. There we go. Yeah, me when I miss face down cards. There we go. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, we're going to be seeing the chain rank coming out now. Because we want to be inheriting that divine skill at the moment, so we're going to probably be shotgunning it in this case. There you go, we're going to be flipping a card and hopefully getting a God Restrict here as well. But yeah, unlikely given that the board is locked. But yeah, no, you're just going to be copying the Rezael there. Also, you're probably going to try and divine skill here or do the attack extension. Either of them is probably going to be starting to put Pete on the back foot, but then you're risking having your whole board bound. But thankfully, because the second avalanche isn't up yet, it's only going to be unlocking. So he's probably going to get the next turn to recover from that. Yeah, really aggro here. Yeah, there he goes. Just going straight for the 28. Or 18, sorry. There you go, yeah. And Pete gets the turn pass, absolutely. Yeah, the full board unlocks, and it's just, yeah. Shadow Paladin trying to stabilize it, but there's not much you can do. And the second avalanche coming down. Avalanche is going to be going to Soulblast on, probably binding both, locking both those Front and from this point on, every single time something would unlock, it's going to get bound instead. Pete's just going to give it to him, because Pete wanted to continue to deny himself. He wanted to make it so he's impossible to deny him because of his Messiah. So, you know, may as well get those defensives in, right? Yeah. Locks the 2, and that's it. Crosswell will now no longer have front row cycles for the foreseeable future, and every time something unlocks, it'll be bound instead. So, yeah, and Cold Death Dragon forces the top card of the deck to be Cold's lock card. Looks like a PG, which is pretty big. Yeah, that's a perfect card. Yeah, that's not something you want to be seeing if you're Crosswell right now, especially as Pete's going to start mounting on the pressure. Double Elrow as well. Swinging, yeah. Cross is going to be in a really awkward position soon, where he's going to have to start taking a whole lot more damage than he really wants to be. There we go, yeah, that's the G-God coming down. Are we going to be looking at the new fest? Ooh, yes, we're looking at the brand new 2022 G-God coming down. Surprisingly enough, the only one the Crossbow is running, which is when it's put on Guardian Cycle, you choose up to 5 grade 1s from drop zone and put them back into the deck. And this gains plus 5k for each card put back. But if you put all 5 back, you can counterblast 1 and just perfect guards the attack. So he's able to kind of, in a way, unbrick himself, but screw his own ritual count. But it doesn't really matter because what Pete's going to be doing is continuously binding it anyway, right? So he's eventually just going to start eating into all that drop zone anyway, especially with 2 arrows on the board. So it's probably starting to look a pretty healthy position for Crosswell to be in. So yeah, Crosswell is slowly realizing the implication of the double avalanche in this case. Yeah, very dominant situation here for Pete. There we are. We're just going to be trying the more Fessa. Plus the old terror that we had Maxime on earlier. He knows all about this card. This counterblast 1, choose a card from my G's and flip it face up, and retire 2 rear guards. I will then draw 2 cards until the end of the turn. Triggers in my drop zone count as grade 1s for my ritual counts. And then a ritual 10, my entire front row gains 15k and a crit. And when my opponent would call from hand to guard, they must guard with 2 or more cards at the same time. So one of the best, arguably the best stride Shadow Paladin has access to. But unfortunately with Crosswell, in situations like this, it's just not going to be enough pressure. You know, Pete can just tank it. His hand is healthy. His board is fine. He's got another Cosmic. Oh, there we go. He's going to be blocking 2 more cards. He's going to be more than willing, more than capable to... Yeah, there you go. Immediately going to go for that G-Guard Cosmic Dawn. Yep. Not G-Guard. Removing the heal for the Cosmic Ray. And yeah, the next turn the Cosmic Dawn is going to be able to bounce more things to hand. It's really, really free. And yeah, Pete just goes OT to pass. You can't. You won't do it. But yeah. Ooh, Cross does check the heal, which is not nothing. But unfortunately, Pete is quite a bit deeper into... Making his opponent go quite a bit deeper into their deck. So I don't know how long he can keep doing this. Second check. In the main, third check. That's a draw trigger. Again, deeper and deeper into the deck. That's such a rough position to be in if you're Crosswell right now. Really, really, really tricky position. And there we go, that's the Barrier End coming down as well. Barrier End is going to be flipping a card on the G-Zone face up. And then as soon as that resolves, he's going to rip all of those markers off of Crosswell's board. And when he's done ripping them, he is going to gain 10k in a crit for each and every single card ripped. So even though he knows his opponent has the PG, he just wants to start ripping those out of Crosswell's hand. Probably wants to be in a position where his opponent's going to have to start taking swings. And that time is coming soon. Because this Vanguard is already going to be swinging for 4 damage into 2, which, again, forces that PG out of the hand. It's lethal. Like, he can't keep letting that stuff happen. He unironically can't keep getting away with this. First check, draw trigger. Pete is going to be farming it. Second check, third check. Again, nothing super substantial, but again, he is just able to camp it out slowly but surely. And you just kind of hope to see that's enough. Yeah, there you go. Again, it's not about the big numbers, it's about like slowly ripping it out. And as your opponent is giving you drops, they're fueling your binds. Because the triple arrow is nuts in the back row. I don't really know what. The second Crosswell calls anything, Pete countercharges 3 and binds 3. Like, if Pete doesn't kill here, I think he just eagles, right? I don't know how he... Short of supreme misfortune, I don't know how Crosswell can stabilize here. Pete feels like he's in such a dominant position here. Which is a real shame, honestly, because I was hoping he was going to cast with me next round. But, you know, if with friends like these. But... yeah, just being able to continue. This is such a dominant position to be in if you're Heartbreed right now. You know, it's already a rough matchup for Shadow Paladin, but, you know, the triple Elrow is really something else. Because anytime he locks anything, that thing is going to be bound, and then that's gone from the game. No real interaction with the bind zone for Crosswell, unfortunately. And Pete's Signature deck with the triple arrow is going to be countercharging 3 per turn. Not even Zing give at those numbers. And this stuff is free. And also fuels some alternate win cons, which is really cool, actually. This is genuinely like one of my favorite things at the moment. The thing with this, well, is these grind games don't even last long as you think, because I think you'll find that, yeah, if you look at the Crosswell's situation, his deck's getting kind of small. He can Divine Skill, sure, but the trouble is Pete has ample shield. That's not really a concern. And if Pete can generate a big enough, locked enough board, not even Morfessa can save him, because a lot of the restanders in Shadow Paladin require you to have other things to retire, which again can't. Yeah, he's going to be trying to bot deck things, but I don't know how impactful this is going to be, honestly. There they go, flipping what looks like, yeah, what looks like another Chain Rankle here. But again, I don't think that's enough. Yeah, there you go. He's going for that Divine Skill, and you're going to find out if that's enough. But it's going to be a lot of triggers going in, which means when Pete starts locking stuff, it's will look like 6 crits maybe. And while it's a lot of crits going back into the deck, there is no guarantee that they're going to end up in useful places. You know, defensives don't matter if he can deck his opponent out. I'm sure Pete's not overly happy to see all those going back, but a critical can come in clutch, especially when a critical means 2 locked units. And 2 locked units mean 2 bound units. So yeah, these things really do start spiraling out of control really, really quickly. But yeah, then of course, as we have the concern of time, time is always an issue. If the game goes too long, you don't both of them getting double game loss. That's a really unfortunate situation to be in. And a triple drive, that's going to be a critical trigger. So the thing is, with us not seeing more critical triggers right now, that is more triggers in deck. Which, again, is a really, really tricky position to be in if you're Pete. Because as much as locking things is great, and it is great, Yeah, there you go. So what you're probably going to try and do here now is either lock. No, you're going to be locking your own rearguards. Yeah, that's going to be most likely a cosmic situation happening next turn. Because, yeah, I think you're hoping Crosswell is sort of wised up to your Elros at this point, so you're not going to be getting too much value coming out of them in the near future. Yeah, there you go. He's going for that double intercept. Wants to clear up his front row. Because it doesn't seem bad, but yeah, he wants to be able to call new things out. Because, yeah, a couple things are going to get bound, and when they are, he now has things to draw into. Pete going for the rewrite, and the third glue ball coming up. Of course, a lot of people running 2, but Pete, wising up to the situation, running 3 of them. And with 3 of them, he's able to bind the front row again. And, of course, Crosswell can only keep up 1 attack per turn for so long. And Pete's able to continue locking that front row, continue flipping cards, continue pumping up those numbers. Realistically, OT is still in the game as far as we know, and Crosswell has to keep contending with that. It is just such a difficult position to be in if you're Pete in this moment in time, right? Like, how are you meant to recover from this comfortably? There we go. We got 10 more minutes left on the round, and yeah. There we go. Second check. Heal trigger. That is pretty big. The heal trigger coming out can be really clutch. Unfortunately, both Buster Jokers out, so the grind game will be lost. But a critical trigger. 2 damage coming out. Oh, that's 1 critical, and that is a second Eldona, so opponent goes, Crosswell going straight to 4. While Pete is able to resolve that heal, shooting himself down to 2, making it way, way, way safer to take those Vanguard swings when you're sitting on your Freezeray. And yeah, Elro for big numbers. Again, you're just trying to pump out the damage. And you can see Crosswell's hand slowly but surely shrinking. I'm looking from here. Both decks looking real thin. But with Pete not having the Blaster Jokers in circulation, there is just no Legion. He's going to have to start playing real conservative soon. It's going to be a difficult one. Yeah, he's just going to unlock his Elros and just tell his opponent to call. I dare you. If you call, I'm going to countercharge 3. You won't. Yeah, 4 cards in deck. How much can he really do? Crosswell's thinking of doing the Messiah. Yes, strides the Messiah, unfortunately. And the thing with Messiah is, although it unlocks, it kind of doesn't. Because what Messiah does is it attempts to unlock, but of course the double avalanche, forcing it to bind. So we just have Crosswell discarding 2 cards for binding 2, just to clear up that front row, and he has 1 more turn in him. Yeah, there you go. Pete's just explaining the interaction there, but of course, he would know he made the deck. Absolutely cooking right now. Of course, again, Crosswell understandably thinking about unlocking the cards, but it just does not work that way. Very, very unfortunate situation, but that, this just happens sometimes. Again, one of the really, really cool things about Freezeray control is you're just able to do this. Like, yeah, Pete's going to sit there, he's going to take a couple hits, and going to go right back to locking his front row. Yeah, even after the Divine Skill, the thing with Shadow Paladins passing so much is there's just nothing there. It's just not enough pressure. Pete taking that Elementaria, but locking his other front row. There we are, locking the other front row, yep. Not that it super matters, but yeah, Pete's just deciding on what to lock. There we go, yeah, going for that Blaster Dark. Vanguard swings. Yeah, and then if Pete's just has to survive this, he goes Generation Guard. Yeah, so much of his G-Zone currently face up. Has to be very, very careful. Oh, going for the Lacus Karina as well. Trying to lock the 2 back rows. Oh, absolutely incredible line here. Locking the 2 cards. Lacus Karina, counterblast 1. Lock any number of rear guards and flip a G-Guard. And your opponent locks that many cards from their back row. Phenomenal play here by Pete. Reducing the power over on Crosswell's side. Because, yeah, he's on 4, but none of that matters if Pete can say OT to pass, because OT would take Crosswell out. So there really is nothing to be done here. If Crosswell checks the OT, he dies. In any other situation, it's just not enough. First check, second check, third check. And it's just not enough. And the units bind, they unlock. Pete stands, look at his opponent. sees the number of cards in deck. And yeah, just swings Vanguard. Raw, unfiltered. Has to make sure he can't stride. He'd deck out as well. I believe Crosswell might be on 2 in deck then. We might have miscounted there. So yeah, tries to... Yeah, but unfortunately for Pete, doesn't have the extra Zirconium or the CB for it, so he's not able... Again, Crosswell, good player. Wised up to his decisions. A lot of no shields, and yet, here we are. Yeah, Pete swings... Yeah, just guards it. That's not a problem at all. Pete, unfortunately, not too big a deck, and with no Blaster Jokers, no ability to shuffle all that back in. Again, difficult positions we find ourselves in. And of course, do bring people in, but if you do miss the games, please do remember that they'll be available on Monday on the Patreon, and will be available on the YouTube channel at the end of this week. So if you're not here, do not dismay. We will be back with you very, very soon. But until then, yeah, we're seeing that Chain Ranker coming out at this point. Pete can't really take the damage, which is a tricky position to be in at the moment. Yeah, it's really difficult with Pete only sitting on what looks like 2 cards in deck. Opponent just G-guarding, shuffling 3 or 4 back. This table's basically turned on Pete in the last moment. Yeah, Rezael coming down again. Crosswell just wants to get those numbers in. If a single attack connects, that's basically GG life for Pete. And Pete takes it. And that's the over trigger. And draws a card, and that's a good game. Unfortunately for Pete, that is so unfortunate. That's something that's just going to happen. And unfortunately, that's going to be game. And what's going to be happening right now is we're probably going to take a little short break with round 5 starting very, very shortly. And yeah, it's unlucky. Really close game. Amazing game. Probably my favorite game of the day so far. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. So guys, stay safe, take care, and I will see you in about 10 minutes for round 5. Take your breaks, run to the bathroom, get yourself a cup of tea, get yourself a coffee, a drink, a snack, and call some people over. We will see you guys so soon. Take care, guys. We will see you shortly. 5-10 minutes. We'll be right back.